And welcome to the Michener Art Museum's Art Talks for Kids. We are your docents. This is my partner, Karen, and I am Maureen. What is a docent? Well, just as if we were in the museum together, we'll be your guides to help you learn more about the artworks. We hope to get you excited about looking at art and sharing your ideas with friends and family. You might want to have something to write on and to write with. We'll be asking you questions, and sometimes it's helpful to be able to jot down or draw some of your thoughts as we go along. Since you are watching a recording of today's Art Talks for Kids, you might also want to pause the recording to give yourself plenty of time to think about your responses. It's important that you know there are no right or wrong answers to the questions we'll be asking. Karen and I will be having a conversation about the art, but the important thing is what you come up with. We want you to have fun and enjoy this adventure with art. Today, we're going to look closely at two paintings. We'll start with this one, and Karen will lead the conversation.
Okay, let's take a minute just to look at this painting. It's called Sink or Swim, painted by the artist named Mavis Smith. Maureen, what do you see in this painting?
Well, I'm going to remind the people watching the recording to pause if they would like to gather their thoughts before I say anything. What do I see? I see a person with a tattoo standing near a window behind which it looks that there is a swimming pool.
Very good. Can you describe for me the colors, shapes, lines, textures?
I see lots of colors in the person's hair. I see lines and also variations of color in the water. And I see variations in the colors in the background and also in the skin of the person.
And what else do you see? Or what do you see that you might not expect to see?
Well, I see words, sink or swim, written above the pool. I didn't expect to see that. What else? Well, when I look closely at the person, I'm just not sure if all the features are where I'd expect them to be.
That's a very great observation. So today we're looking at portraits. And do you know what makes this a portrait?
Well, this is a picture of a person, so I'm guessing that that's what makes a portrait.
That's exactly right. Do you think this is a real person in the painting?
It's a good question. I think that it is based on a real person, but I think that the artist perhaps made some changes when she was painting, just changed some of the relationships in the person's face and maybe in the collarbone.
That's a good observation. So now that you've noticed some of the painting's details, can you, if it's okay, close your eyes for a minute? And with your eyes closed, tell me what you remember in the painting, or did any elements in particular strike you as interesting or important?
Again, those of you watching the recording, you can pause and gather your thoughts. what I remember standing out to me again are the lines in the pool and the different colors in those lines and the lighting on the inside of the window frame. And of course, I remember the tattoo.
Great. Okay, now open your eyes and take another look. Does anything pop out to you that you missed before? Or does anything stand out that looks a little bit different from before you closed your eyes?
I don't I don't think I noticed the right ear quite so much before as I do now. And I noticed that the eyes, I'm not sure, are looking at the same place.
Interesting. If you were to describe this painting, what words would you use?
Hmm. Mysterious, intriguing. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. So take another look and tell me, what do you think the artist is trying to say in this work? Do you think there's a message there?
There may well be. I'm not sure I know what it would be, except that it looks perhaps like the person is facing a decision. And that's influenced in part by what the painting looks like, and also by the title, Sink or Swim, which seems to suggest, are you going to sink or are you going to dive in and swim?
That's a good one. If you were the artist, Maureen, would there be anything that you would do differently?
If I were the artist, yes, it would not look nearly so beautiful because I don't have the skills that Mavis Smith has. Um, and so, no, I don't think I would do anything differently. I love what she has done with the colors and the luminous quality of her painting.
And so, who do you think this person is? Can you imagine a story in the artwork?
Well, I think that the person has goggles around the neck and is at that point of making a decision. Is it time to dive in or walk away? So we'll come back to this painting, but first, let's take a look at another painting. We'll ask you some of the same questions we asked about the first painting. And again, the most important answers are those that you think of. Let's take a minute just to look at this painting. It's called Pigtails. It's by an artist named Nelson Shanks, who was well known for painting very famous people. His studio is in Bucks County, but he painted Princess Diana and Ronald Reagan, and he painted the 4 first women on the Supreme Court. So it took him away sometimes from Bucks County. What do you see in this painting?
Well, I see a person that looks like a young girl or a young woman, and she it's very plain background. It's just maybe a curtain, looks like different colors of pink and red and some purple in there, but it just appears to be a drapery. And the most startling thing about the painting is, of course, that she's facing away from us and not looking toward us, which is very unusual.
You are pointing out a really important feature of this painting. We'll come back to that in a minute, but what words would you use to describe this painting?
I would say it's, well, first of all, I think it's a happy painting because the colors are nice and bright. But it's also mysterious because we wonder, what is she looking at? Why isn't she looking at us?
Very good question. And that brings us back to today we're looking at portraits. Is this a portrait?
Well, it is a painting of a person. So I guess you could say that, yes, it's a portrait of the back of her head.
I think you make a very good point. It is still a visual story of a person. So it is a portrait of sorts. Is this a real person in this painting?
I would say yes, especially compared to the painting that we saw before. All the proportions seem to be correct. And you know, her hair looks very realistic. And I think this is somebody that I could see walking down the street. So I think yes.
Good point. I think that she's very realistic, Karen. You're right. Now, you've noticed some of the painting's details. Close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, what do you remember in the painting?
The thing that strikes me most of all is those yellow bands around her pigtails. I think the color just stands right out to me. It's the thing that I think I noticed first about the painting. And also, of course, the fact that her back is toward us.
Yes. Good observation. Okay, open your eyes. And now, do you notice anything that you missed before?
Yes, I would say so. She appears to be very muscular, and I'm thinking that maybe she's wearing a bathing suit, and I'm thinking that she's a swimmer who loves to swim and swims a lot. And I love the hair. I think it's just so cute the way, I mean, it's just, I think it's cute the way she has little hairs sticking out at the bottom of her, you know, at the base of her neck. And again, those little yellow bands, it makes me happy.
Right. It does. It is a happy painting, as you point out. What do you think this artist is trying to say in this work?
Well, that that is the question. I'm wondering if maybe she's looking behind us to see something in the past. She's thinking about something that might have happened in the past.
Oh, I like that. Now, those of you watching the recording don't know that Karen really is an artist. She is indeed. She makes beautiful watercolor paintings. So Karen, if you were the artist of this work, what would you do differently, if anything?
Well, I think that I might put something in the background. I don't think I would have it be just a plain drapery or whatever. I think I might take that swimming pool from the other painting and put it in there. So I guess, yeah, that's what I would do. I would have some things in the background to kind of give us more of a story.
And more clues maybe about who the person is.
Exactly.
Well, now let's look at the two paintings side by side. And again, those of you watching the recording, this might be a good time to pause and gather your thoughts as we ask you to think about what similarities do you see and what differences do you notice? Karen, I'm wondering both what similarities you see and what differences you notice.
Well, I'll tell you that although both are paintings, the artists use different materials and processes. One uses egg tempera, a painting technique that dates back to ancient Greece and Rome, thousands of years ago. This technique dries very quickly and uses egg yolk mixed with pigment. Egg yolk, you just go to the store and buy a dozen eggs and that you use that egg yolk. Pigment is the powder that gives color to paint. This technique was used by famous Renaissance artists such as Leonardo da Vinci. The other painting uses oil paint on canvas. It's a type of painting tradition that also goes back thousands of years. This type of paint is more flexible to use because it takes a very long time to dry. This oil paint allows artists to easily add or remove it from their canvases as they work. Can you see anything between the two works that would help you understand which is which?
I just wonder if the different mediums used contribute to the different light qualities in each. You can see the brilliant color in pigtails and the more illuminated colors and layers of colors in sink or swim. So for those of you watching, now that you have a little background into how an artist might work, we have some questions for you to think about on your own. First, what questions would you ask the artists of our two portraits if you could? Next, what questions would you ask the subjects of the portraits? If the subjects could talk, what might they say? Is there anything in either painting that gives you clues about the person in each portrait? And finally, if you were having your portrait painted, what would you include in the painting? And what medium might you use? Would you have it painted? Might it be clay, a photograph? I hope you'll give some thought to those questions and take your time. I know you'll come up with great responses. And now Karen is going to lead us to the conclusion of our program.
Thank you for joining us today at Art Talks for Kids. Other Art Talks are available on our YouTube channel and on our education site, Learn with the Michener. New episodes will be added in the coming weeks, so be sure to check them out. To learn more about the artists featured today in today's Art Talk, please visit the museum's online Bucks County Artists Database. To learn more about the artists, the paintings, the materials and techniques, and to download education resource materials related to this Art Talk, visit our education site, Learn with the Michener, at learnmichener.org. There you can find a series of resources that we put together in the hopes that you will investigate them. We hope you'll use some of our questions to spark activities or projects that you can do at home or with friends. Thank you so much for joining us today.